Okay, this comic is here to bring you the full Marcus family experience in full Technicolor. So please give a nice warm round of applause for Elissa Marcus.
Great to learn more about Jeff Sessions. So I am Elissa, and I am non-binary. Thank you so much. And like if you, I just do it to piss conservatives off. And if you didn't get that about me straight away, I mean, I totally get it. I think most people, if I were standing at a distance, would say, "Hey, look at that woman over there," because of my, dainty ankles. And I feel like when people find out, there's some kind of mild surprise in the same way that when they learn Jason Biggs, Jason Biggs from American Pie, he fucked the pie. When they learn that he actually is not Jewish. He is 100% Italian. And we have to believe him. And we have to respect him. Speaking of 100% Italian, I love pizza. Woo! Controversial, I know. Here's how much I love pizza, a little story to illustrate. So one day, I was at my parents' house in the kitchen and I was having some leftover pizza. And I take a bite and my mom, I guess, just dies in the next room. Her hospice nurse starts yelling. She's like, oh, family, I think she's taking her last breath. You should come in here now. You should come. And I was like opening the box and closing the box, and I didn't know what to do. And instead of running in there, I took another bite of pizza. So this hospice nurse was sent by the state kind of like as a consolation prize for their shitty Medicare. Kind of like reminds me of when you go to a restaurant, you have a horrible meal, and then the manager comes and like comps your dessert so that you like don't leave unhappy. Anyway, she was a blessing. She was just super informative, calm, reassuring. But as soon as my mom died, she like did a complete 180, and she was just like ripping off the oxygen tube. She was on the phone with the coroner, like, "We got a rotting body over here, come quick!" And she grabs all my mom's good drugs and flushes them down the toilet immediately. "Lady, that is my inheritance!" Gone. At least she didn't flush the pizza, right? Another thing about my mom is she really loved Starbucks. Bit of a basic bitch. At the end of her life, all she would eat and all she would drink were Frappuccinos and cake pops for every meal, every day. And so in tribute, my dad had her ashes put into a Starbucks cup. To go. So I went to the park with my dad to go scatter her ashes, and unbeknownst to me, this man had been driving around for a full week with his wife in a Starbucks cup in the trunk of his car, just unsecured, bouncing around. So we get to the park, we open the trunk, and we find that my mother has scattered herself. And I thought to myself, when the barista asked, you should have said yes when the barista asked if you wanted one of those little plastic drink stoppers. So as we're taking out the Starbucks cup, I'm like, so should we say a few words? I have a funeral or something? And my dad said, "No, your mother didn't want a funeral. And I said, why? And he said, because she didn't want to give you an opportunity to talk shit about her. Well, look at me now, Mama! I'm just kidding, it's all love, sort of. So my dad is like scraping up the ashes into the cup with like the lid. And he's like walking down towards this pond and he's about to scatter them and he says, turn around, I don't want you to see me do this. And why, Father? Well, because your mother doesn't want to know exactly where her ashes are so that you can't spit on her grave. Fortunately, I was able to spit in the cup. My mom had a lot of really fun personality traits, but probably holding a grudge was one of her top traits, her top skills. She had this address book, and like every fifth name in the address book had like a big red X over it, and then like some kind of epithet after it. So it was like, you know, Dr. Smith, traitor. You know, the neighbor, asshole. And then her mother-in-law, she wrote, choked on a dick and died. And I'm just happy that my grandma died doing what she loved. And also coincidentally, my mom was great at saving time and money on her Christmas card list. The secret is holding grudges. So my parents were sort of like, had the kind of typical American attitude of being embarrassed millionaires. Where it's sort of like, you know, aside from having nothing in my bank account, I'm a very rich person, so please don't tax me, the rich person. So anyway, temporary embarrassed millionaires. So they had very ordinary belongings, but they had extraordinary names for them. So for example, the nightgowns that my mom would wear, she would only wear nightgowns every day, for every occasion. They weren't nightgowns though, they were kaftans. And then my dad had this weird old dresser, but it wasn't a dresser, it was a credenza. Then my grandma would pay, the one that choked on a dick and died, she would pay for all their bills, and that's capital gains. But this credenza was like, it was like half my mom's stuff and half my dad's stuff. But my mom didn't use any of the stuff in her half. It was like a time capsule for like the last time she could stand to pretend that she was sexually attracted to him. So there was like, you know, a frilly sweater with shoulder pads in it, some dark brown pantyhose, a thigh master. So I'm guessing the last time he got a blowy was 1987. And there was this weird thing in the credenza that I to this day, I have literally no clue what it is. It was like a clear acrylic, like plastic stick that was kind of shaped curved like an S and had notches all along it. And I know it wasn't a sex toy because it didn't really feel that good when I tried to fuck myself with it. So I just chucked it in my closet and forgot about it. And I imagine that like years later when my parents sold their house, like the person that bought it was like, yeah, I found this thing in the closet and it's clear and it's plastic and it must be a sex toy because it smells like pussy. That was me. My dad also had this like really pathetic mattress. It was like 45 years old and sagging so badly that like when you sat on it, felt like sitting on like a very loosely strung hammock. Like you might as well just be sitting on the floor. And miraculously, a couple years after my mom died, he got a girlfriend named Tommy that he met at their fundamentalist church, very kinky. And I guess Tommy was sick of this mattress because, you know, a couple of years into their relationship, I happened to find them moving a new mattress into the house. And once the mattress got situated, my dad pulled me aside and he said, I know that this mattress looks like it can fit 2 people, but this mattress, it's for me. Only I am sleeping on it. Tommy and I are not fornicating. And I was like, why would you tell me such a thing? And he said, you know, as a father, it's important to me that my daughter your child, know that her dad, their dad, is a man of integrity. Integrity! So what you're telling me is that you bought a brand new mattress to impress your roommates? You're sad as fuck. So basically, you have a jobless woman and her 3 children living in your house and you don't even fuck? Like, are you a liar or a loser? Like, fornication is the best case scenario. It's always the best case scenario. That is it for me. Thank you so much.